Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to checking out the YouTube version of Cinematic Autopsy. We've noticed a lot of you are watching and have not subscribed.
Yeah.
So,
Please subscribe.
Yeah, before we begin, it would be wonderful if you guys could click on that little link right there. Right, see where I'm pointing right there, and you'll notice that if you scroll down, you'll see subscribe. So subscribe to us, CL Squared Productions. You'll be able to see our videos, stuff.
We have lots of cool
our
content for
trailers.
you guys. You'll know everything that we're up to in the film world, whether we're talking about it or doing it.
Exactly. So let's give you 5 seconds to subscribe. All right, everyone. We'll see you guys soon. Hey, everybody. It's us. Look at this. We're in the same meat space. It's crazy.
Why a meat space? Is it made of meat?
No, meat space is what you call when it's not on the internet. Because we are made of meat.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
It's what the fucking technical hacker people I know call it.
Meat space.
Yes. In real life, it's meat
With
space.
an EA?
Yes.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yes, we're in the same space. We're in the middle of a crazy fucking, thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We're sheltering from the storm.
Yes, we must flee to the country. I just moved. Charles just moved. That's what's taken us so long.
Yep.
Yes, we are both in new space. Life is insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just had a birthday.
He did have a birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday in the zoo. Happy birthday, I love you. Happy birthday with the kazoo.
Woo-hoo.
Without a shirt.
All right. Thank you. So
we're here to talk about Goodnight, Mommy with Naomi Watts.
The remake, the Queen of Remakes, Naomi Watts.
Yes.
Who is somehow not in any of the remakes we've spoken of. I'm actually shocked.
Yeah, I'm shocked too.
This is the first Naomi Watts. If we had done The Ring.
Oh shit!
Yeah, if we had done The Ring, then she was in
Still
that.
the most terrifying thing. I mean, I've watched it since being a horror filmmaker, and that scares me way less, but still terrifies me.
Yeah,
and I had never heard of Ringu if it weren't for Charles.
Yeah, that was the one that I had seen.
Yes.
Yeah, I've only seen the last 20 minutes of the Naomi Watts version. I've never seen the remake.
Really, Samara's scary as shit.
Yeah.
Still terrifying.
I've seen all of Ringu.
Ringu.
And I've also seen all of Judan, or whatever it was called.
Yes.
The Grudge.
The Grudge.
And also One Missed Call.
I don't know that one.
That was the director, that was Takashi Miike, the director of Ichi the Killer.
Yes.
Attempting to do his own, Japanese horror film like that. It's
How
not
did that
great.
Go?
It's not great. They made an American remake that's even less great.
That's why it's not on this.
Yes.
But surprisingly, as we all know, if you paid attention to last week's episode, I loved the original version, the German version of Goodnight, Mommy, and hadn't seen it in years. So,
and I had never seen it.
Yes, so upheld this idea that it was this brilliant fucking movie. And so we had, I had what do they call it? Something come to Jesus moment. Epiphany, where I was like, this is not actually brilliant. So you'll know that if you listen to our last episode. But here we are talking about the remake, because Charles cares about me enough to continue talking about this movie franchise, because he enjoyed it a little bit.
I didn't think that the original was bad, necessarily. I just don't think that it was...
worthy to be on this podcast.
Yeah, well, it's not even worthy. It's that there's not much to discuss, you know? In fact, I think even in this version, there's not that much to discuss. What we mostly will discuss is the fact, and I texted you about it when I was watching this, was now that you go in, and you had the same thing when you watched the original, when you go in knowing that Eli, and sorry, spoilers, okay.
That Lucas is dead.
Spoilers for the whole fucking movie, that Lucas is dead, and Eli is the only one that's real. It is so glaringly obvious the whole time.
The whole time. See, that's kind of what ruined it for me, I think, rewatching the original. Was that I just... Rewatching it, I was like, fuck, I knew the entire fucking time, and I'm glad that they did a good enough job Where I think in the original, you could get away with watching the entire film not knowing that Lucas is dead. In this, and we'll talk about it as we talk about this remake that came out in 2022, that it's more blatantly obvious, I think, that Lucas is dead.
Yeah.
In compared to the original.
Yeah. Like, the fact that no one responds to him. Yeah. No one, the only person who talks to him is Elias. Elias. Which is weird. No one pronounces it that way.
No, that's true. But I do love that they kept the original kids' names. Mm-hmm. I do really appreciate that. But there was one, it's when, again, more spoilers, when Naomi Watts is talking to the cops saying he, mm-hmm. instead of they, mm-hmm. referring to the kids. Where I remember that's when, because I tried to look at it the first time I watched this, which was, I think, the year it first came out. Yeah. And I remember thinking that, okay, they're doing a really good job at hiding the fact that Lucas is dead. And then she's talking to the cops, being like, he, my mm-hmm. child, my... And then I was like, oh, fuck. But I think on the flip side of that, they did a really good job at making all the characters seem aware to a certain extent, including Elias, up to a certain degree, that everyone's aware that Lucas is dead. Yeah. Yeah. Overall good movie. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. This is also a movie, by the way. We spoke about this a while back when we watched another movie on Amazon that has frightening scenes. Yeah, like how they have language, nudity, violence, frightening scenes.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
I don't know.
What does that even mean? There's one scene we were discussing before we were on air that, there's one scene where it's frightening, and I do want to know, and I did not do research on this, was it Naomi Watts as the weird devil creature thing in the nightgown?
I'm pretty sure that was probably a stunt double, because it was very...
If I were Naomi Watts, I'd want to do it.
Yeah. But you're also, I'm sure younger Naomi Watts would have add 30 years on. I don't know if she still wants to do that.
I still think she's hot as fuck. She's just growing into my
yeah, exactly. She's right now. Naomi Watts is.
She's my type.
Yeah, exactly.
She's my type. She's perfect. She's perfect. And my favorite thing is watching this too. Is that who I was watching with didn't know it was Naomi Watts. You know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But it's just because you don't know that it's Naomi Watts. Also, she doesn't look any different. She looks worse because of the scars once the thing finally comes off versus her headshots. But yeah, no, he didn't believe that it was Naomi Watts underneath all of that until the headshot thing came out. Which, totally understandable. And she did... Anyway, I'm happy that Charles enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I actually thought it... Actually, in some ways, I actually think it is better than the original, even if... I'm never a fan of toning down, more objectionable material in a remake, but at the same time, I think it kind of showed how much the original didn't need it. Yeah. The fact that we were able to describe one scene of the movie as 20 minutes of torture, and that was our literal one-sentence description of 20 minutes of the film. Yep. And here it's not even in the film at all.
No, it's not. And I forgot, and I think that's why I didn't like it as much when I first watched it. Mm-hmm. And now watching it, I'm like, oh, this storyline makes more sense. Again, it has nothing to do with, the language barrier or anything like that. I enjoyed this way more. It shows that I still am malleable and can have opinions of my own changed. Yeah. Where now I enjoyed it more so than the original as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna let's get into it.
Let's get into it. My favorite thing is that because we haven't watched an Amazon original in a long time. I just want to note that I actually really like their studios opening. Yeah. I really liked it.
What I will tell you is I hate vertical things in a film. Yeah. I absolutely hate that. I hate when there's the black sides on both when it's black on both sides, just when you're doing a vertical cell phone thing. I hate it. I absolutely despise it.
Oh, well, that's okay. So we're going into the film. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I was talking about the intro. Yeah. But yes. No, totally. So they're showing cell phone footage, right, of Naomi Watts singing "You Are My Sunshine" to the children.
Yes. Very important that it's "You Are My Sunshine," by the way. Yes. Because it's one of my few problems with the film later on.
Makes sense. It's also, The Sunshine on My Shoulders by John Denver is my dad and my sister's movie, or song, sorry. I completely forgot.
Keep that in mind, because I'll bring that up later, because it's perfect example.
Yes. They changed the lyrics. That's what it is. I'm just kidding.
So, but yeah, no, I absolutely hate when you've got a vertical cell phone thing in a film.
Especially a studio film.
Yeah, no, in both Demon Hunter and in Bishop's Cove, we have cell phone footage that we zoom in.
Yes.
Because I hate when it's just like the fucking big black sides of the screen.
Totally understand.
Like, just zoom in, have the whole thing there. Would it have been any worse? I mean, would we would have missed her knees. Like, you know what I mean? The frame wouldn't have been, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting, too, that, like, before we get into it, that's the whole thing. I mean, Charles and I both deal with this all the time when we're thinking about, like, cutting trailers or reels or, like, whatever, whether it's personal, whether it's business. The fact that now, or even with, like, self-tape auditions, which are still a huge thing in our industry, that they have to specify whether they want it like horizontal versus vertical. And now it's grown to, in my experience with modeling stuff, it's whether you want it for YouTube and Facebook, which is horizontal, or Instagram and TikTok, which is vertical.
Yeah.
And if they shoot it on YouTube style, which is horizontal, and then you post it on your Instagram as a reel, then it cuts off most of the shit. It's just, I don't know. It's one of these. I feel like it's not talked about enough. How it's just fucking stupid.
Well, it's one of the reasons why when I put stuff up on our trailers, it's letterboxed so that it's able to fool the system into showing the full screen.
We love fooling the system.
Yes.
Yes.
So she's singing "You Are My Sunshine," and she'll sing the song. She tells her husband to not shoot because she feels she looks ancient. Yes. So we see. Then we go to a boy in a car. He's drawing a sketch of his mother with her two sons.
With her two sons, yes. I mean, like, it's a shit sketch, but it doesn't deserve what happens to it.
Most children have shit sketches.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, thank God. I was trying to think about it. I was trying to think about, like, any child prodigies that I know. We're not art history majors, obviously, so we don't know.
I knew one.
Of course you did.
I knew one. She's the one who was overjoyed when she was a violin prodigy.
Oh, I was talking about, like, drawing
prodigies.
Prodigies.
No, I did not know.
I know prodigies of other things.
Yeah.
Drawing prodigies? No.
I knew the violin prodigy who was so happy when she got in a car accident and her tendons got fucked up because her mother could never make her play violin again.
Makes sense.
Yeah, which was so sad to me as a musician because she was like 22.
Yeah.
But she was overjoyed.
She could have been the next Yo-Yo Ma, and like, she found it to be
She
like,
was
her
overjoyed she could never play violin again.
Yeah. I don't know any of those as far as drawing goes. But yeah, so they arrive at this house. Clearly, the kids haven't seen their mother in, what do we think, like a year or something like that. Like, time has passed.
Yeah.
Obviously, the parents have broken up.
Yeah.
And the father thinks that, Mom doesn't want to see me right now. So he drives away, and we never see him again.
Yeah. I assumed it was probably his gun.
Oh yeah, spoiler.
We've already said that we're going to spoil the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume it was probably his gun that did the shooting.
I forgot about the gun thing. Like, I thought so, but I thought maybe she wound up, like, killing the father. It's been so... Chelsea... No, the movie just came out in 2022. It hasn't been so long since you've seen it. But I forgot about that. Because I didn't like this movie when I first watched it. And I like it more now. Yeah. But yes, it might have been the father's gun.
Which would explain why she wouldn't want to see him anymore.
Yeah, that's enough to divide a family, obviously. Yeah. Again, spoiler alert, Lucas is dead.
Yeah, well, as I said, if you're watching this, there's spoiler alerts for everything we do. You look at an episode, you're going to learn the whole fucking movie.
Period. In the first, 3 seconds.
Sometimes we save it. Sometimes we do the whole thing.
We save it for 10 minutes. That's what she said.
It depends on the film.
It does.
Yeah. Elias says you can come in, and he's looking for his mom. He can't find her until he goes to a darkened room. With flies buzzing around.
Yeah, there's a misturned bed. And she comes out and she says, "You're early. I was still getting ready."
Yeah, looking vaguely like a mummy. Yeah,
she does look like a mummy. I also think about, this is something I don't know because I've never had, full facial plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm. I know people.
I've also never had plastic surgery. Yeah. Just saying that right now, I have never anything.
Yeah.
But that kind of like mesh mummy garb for the face that they made for this movie, I think is really interesting. I wonder how accurate it is to people who've been through procedures like that. But we never learn what procedures they are.
I will be honest. I've known plenty of people with plastic surgery. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen people with like the nose guard because they've had a nose job and the broken, and their eyes are black and all that. Yeah, but I've never seen like a full mummy look.
My mom had that when she had her deviated septum fixed.
Yeah, I've never seen the full mummy look before.
Yeah, the full mummy. Good night, mummy. Mummy. It's the British version that hasn't come out.
Good night, mummy.
Good night, mummy. You're a cunt. I'm sorry. Yes.
So she hates that she has to see him like that, and it's still me under here. She had a little procedure. And and she asked if he was sick, and she said she needed a change, a fresh start. She decided to get a little tune-up while she was there.
But I love that we never learn some of the original. You know that she's like this famous German newscaster and all this stuff. You never know until like the scene with the cops in the living room at 3:00 in the morning, like what she actually does. But you never actually learn.
Yeah,
you just assume she's a famous actress.
Yeah,
based on Blu-rays and whatever the fuck she says she'll give the police station. But no, you don't know what she is or why she's getting the surgery. I don't know. All about self-care, but she does not tell the father, nor does she warn the kids.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has house rules where she's healing, and the same rules from the original film. No running, no shouting in the house or visitors or play dates, and she needs to have peace and quiet. So in her office and bedroom and the barn are off limits, and no arguing.
Yes, and
what mommy says goes.
What mommy says goes. Speaking of rules, what the fuck is it called? Fucking goddamn it! Where's the remote to the television? There's a documentary that just came out on Netflix about like up in Odensburg, New York, about Academy Ivy Ridge. Mm-hmm. It's called, I don't know. It's like #1 on Netflix right now.
Okay.
And it's all about like child abuse and all. Anyway, just watch it.
Yeah.
Just watch it. Your mind will be blown. Your mind will be blown. All these rules.
Where
that's
is that?
What it is.
Where is that?
Right on the like Canada border.
Okay, because I had a friend who was who was actually at this really fucked up youth home for like orphans in Massachusetts that was on the news.
Oh yes.
And she was a resident there.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah, she was talking about how she doesn't remember half of it because it was just so,
what the
like,
fuck?
traumatic.
If I could find the fucking remote, I know we're just sitting here, but you know what? I'll find it.
We'll
find
look for it
on
later.
the break
We'll
if there's a break. Yes.
Yeah. So she tells him to run outside and play, and Lucas does, but Elias stays. And she's exasperated while Elias is playing Call of Duty on his phone, his dad's old phone.
Yes, his dad gave him an old phone.
Yeah.
Yes. She's not thrilled about this.
Yeah.
Yes. She winds up taking
She wants him to go to sleep at 6.
At 6?
Yes.
I missed that.
Yeah.
At 6?
She wants him to go to bed, and he's like, it's 6 p.m.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Like, I understand, but at least warn your kid who hasn't seen you in a year, who, like, is clearly hallucinating his dead brother. Like, give them more leniency. It doesn't matter what surgery you're going through. Or if you're not fully healed yet, this is the major problem with either of the movies. Mm-hmm. If you're not fully healed yet in order to see your son, push it off a couple weeks.
Here's the problem with that. Here's why I understand that. As a child of 8 divorces, oh God, no, that's just my dad. Actually, 13 divorces between my parents. If you have an ex that is bitter, they will use that against you in the custody hearings. They will 100% use that and say, she refused to see him when I wanted to let him see him, so obviously she is unfit for custody.
Damn.
Yeah, parents are fucking awful to each other.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it was that yucky. It seemed like one kid...
He wouldn't enter the room.
He wouldn't go into the house. Can you imagine, though, if he did, because he didn't know about her surgery? Mm-hmm. You know, like, I, as a mother, like, if I went through that, I would tell them ahead of time. Mm-hmm. And be like, I know, I'll still take them, but just know this is what is going on. Yeah. And they're going to be scared. You want to protect your kids. She's clearly not protecting her kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, in this version, they almost set her up for failure.
Yeah.
You know,
There are definitely things she does that are abusive in this film.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, but
the
she's
cold
not,
water thing is definitely
the cold water thing is not okay, and I had a discussion with who while watching it, like that it just. He was just like, it has to be hot water. It has to be hot water. Otherwise,
to scold the fucking kid?
And I'm like, no, it clearly, she just turned on the fucking, shower sprayer thingy. It's obviously cold. It's not going to be hot off the bat. And they didn't understand that cold water is just as bad. And I'm like, no, of course it's as bad.
Yeah, but the difference is cold water...
We're talking, I guess, his abuse.
Cold water,
it must have happened to him. I don't know.
Yeah, cold water is psychological. Hot water is physical.
Yeah. But still, she is abusive. She is abusive.
Yeah, because...
But she's defending herself to an extent. You know, I'm not supporting her behavior.
Yeah.
But it's that... The amount of torture that she does to the kids and that they do to her in exchange is minimal in comparison to the original.
It's weird because here's the thing with the cold water thing. The cold water thing is definitely abusive, yet at the same time, there are mental hospitals that have done that. I had a friend who actually got stayed at one, and she said if she would act up, they strip you naked, throw you in a corner, and they spray you with a freezing cold hose until you calm down.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you need to watch this Ivy Ridge thing.
Yeah, and I think that was the equivalent of what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
You know. But
that makes sense.
Yeah, so let's see. So she puts him to bed, and she
puts them to bed.
She puts him to bed. And so
see, it's funny because Charles, like, now that you
but that's what I'm saying is the whole movie has changed once you go in knowing the twist. And I think that's the thing with spoiler. That's why I'm so anti-spoiler. Is because I think...
we do it all the time.
No, but we are very clear about that you learn the entire movie if you listen to our podcast. Do not... If there is a movie that you have not seen that you want to see, don't listen to that episode.
Yeah.
But, so she puts him to bed and he and kisses him goodnight. And he's like, hey, but you didn't sing the song.
You're too old for songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So you are my sunshine.
And here's where Lucas is like, she's different. She doesn't like us anymore.
It's interesting because I noticed moments in this version where like it's Lucas 100% that is like the one antagonizing Elias into doing things like in the original. But there are moments where you notice that Elias is even. There are things that I wrote down that I thought Lucas was saying that actually Elias was saying. So there's it's different where sometimes he is so thwarted by Lucas's ideas that he comes up with them himself. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah. So, basically, Lucas sings You Are My Sunshine to him. And I noticed sunshine is plural in the song, too, which is probably why it's painful for her.
Yes, You Are My Sunshine.
Yeah, and she, in fact, when she listens, it's very sad for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whole movie is, here's where I wrote whole movie's changed for me, and it becomes impossible to view this movie as its own thing at this point.
Yeah, and that's how I felt like doing the German version.
Yeah. And now we go through the whole little montage where Elias does shit while bored. And Lucas is saying jokes to him like, what do you call the better looking twin? And saying, most people call me Lucas.
Call me Lucas. Now I have to find my point in the notes. I have no idea how far you went.
And Elias is now...
found it.
Okay, Elias is looking at the barn, decides to check it out, but his mom yells at him for going in there.
Yes, which understandably so. They go up into the barn and they notice weird what Elias thinks is red paint and all this stuff.
And Lucas says it's blood.
And Lucas says it's blood.
Yes. There's a close-up of the blood in the wall. We hear a gunshot and Elias wakes up.
I didn't even hear the gunshot.
Yeah, and here's where Elias has peed the bed. Because someone has to pee the bed in the movie.
I missed that, too.
Yeah, someone has to pee the bed in the movie since the mother doesn't in this one.
Maybe I went pee.
Mother's on the phone saying he's never a part of Lucas, and that's the problem. I don't think I can stand another second in this house. I need him gone. How much longer do I have to keep pretending?
I must have missed all of this somehow. Maybe I went pee.
Maybe.
Maybe psychologically I knew.
There you go.
That's what
maybe it was the other. Maybe it was your twin sister.
I wrote. She suspects he saw something. She sneaks upstairs. He goes back to bed.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so Elias debates with himself over what they mean by pretending, and the mother doesn't like that they're always together. Mother comes down. She interrogates him about his urine-soaked sheets in the wash.
Yes. Okay, that's why the sheets are in the wash.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And here's
what I was amazed by is that the kids know how to do laundry at that age. I thought that was cool.
I mean,
I didn't know.
children.
Yeah, you can. I never had to do laundry.
I didn't know that.
At
My
age.
cousin, who had like 7 kids, she taught her kids when they were like 6 how to do the wash.
Yeah, no, I never, like, I'm just learning now that we're in my new apartment, I'm just learning how to do laundry. No, I mean, it's the same as the last apartment.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have known it that age. What I do like, too, is that these kids are a little bit older than the last movie, I think. By, like, maybe, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And I like that you can also...
That's a difference, though.
You can differentiate between Lucas and Elias because of their vocal timbres, too.
Yeah.
Like, Lucas speaks higher.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't had his balls dropped.
I'm not going to talk about little boys' balls. I don't want QAnon after me, so I'm not going to say anything.
But you will understand if you watch it.
Yeah. So, this is the point where, while she's watching Naked and Afraid, which is the only reality show I like because it's so cruel, and I love it.
It's so cool. I had an X on it.
Honestly, if they paid you a shitload ton of money, I would do it. But they don't pay you a shit ton of money.
No, do they pay you at all?
They don't, unless you're on one of like the fucking.
That's what I thought.
They pay you for the reunion shows.
That's what I thought. It's like if you're on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, only The Bachelor and Bachelorette get paid.
Yeah, so they pay, and I'm like, if you paid me fucking $50,000, I would 100% go naked on a fucking island.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh my god. Okay, so producers of Naked and Afraid, if you will pay us, come on, how funny would that be? Us on a fucking island for $50,000.
I'm a vegetarian.
Well, you can eat the plants.
I can eat the plants.
You can learn very quickly which ones are poisonous and which ones aren't.
I could.
Yes.
And I would purposefully eat the poisonous ones so they got me out of there.
I mean, I love animals as much as I eat meat. Do you think I'm going to be a good hunter?
No, it'd be hilarious to watch.
Yes, that's why I said
a lot of the footage
$50,000. Yes.
Hey, how about there's like a Naked and Afraid fucking season where it's all indie fucking filmmaker duos?
Let's do it.
And then it's just me on the beach laughing at you eating berries, trying to like spear fish.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking
because I mean, I'm not gonna. I do not like hurting animals, so that'll be very, hard for me.
You'll also be really bad at it. I love you, but it'd be really bad.
I mean, I'm really good at it with people, but like with animals, I don't want to hurt them.
We hate people.
Yeah, I'm. What am I gonna do? Break a fish's neck? Like what? Where
is a fish's neck?
Yeah,
they don't have a neck.
Yeah, exactly. So but yeah, if you will give us $50,000, I will put it on. I will 100% go on Naked and Afraid.
I will not.
Are you sure 50,000?
No, 150,000.
Okay. You know what? 150,000. We'll do it. There you go.
A piece.
Yes. Oh, 100. What did you think? I thought 50,000 between us? No, I was saying 50,000 each.
No, it would have to be a piece, and I'd have to have a travel guide telling me what berries are safe because I don't have time to.
They don't have that because part of the show is watching people get diarrhea.
They'd have to give it to me ahead of time.
Have you ever watched?
I always have diarrhea.
Have you ever watched the show?
Yes.
Did you see the woman who fucking panicked because like 4 days in she was getting like fucking ants in her vagina? And she got severe diarrhea and was getting because she had shit on her, she was getting ants were going into her vagina and they had to fucking helicopter her out of the African Sahara.
Makes sense.
After 7 days or something like that.
That would be me. I'd purposely be like, "Hey ants, you want a warm home?"
I do not think you want ants in your vagina. But anyway, speaking of...
There's been worse in my vagina.
Speaking of ants in your vagina. So he's in her room. Here's the thing. Now, no, even here it's just Elias. Sorry. So he's trying to put a fucking listening device under her bed.
It's like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah, that's the problem. In the original film, it's a baby monitor. Baby monitors are on all the time. Walkie-talkies are only on when you press the fucking button. And the battery dies super fucking quick. I was a little boy. We had walkie-talkies.
I had walkie-talkies too.
Yeah. Walkie-talkies do not last long. The baby monitor was such a better idea in the original film. So at this point, she is coming up the stairs, though. So he hides. And now here's where Elias is just a weird little creep peeping on his mom.
Yeah, she does this weird like mummy striptease for herself. Yeah, but like this is a moment that I completely understand. Like actually on my TV in the background, like is still the fucking frame and like the description for the movie. I'm thinking about it, like, that's totally something that I've done. Like, I mean, not like that.
You've watched your mom, like, do a striptease?
No, I've done it. I've done it, where I'm just, like, I've gone through something and I've survived it, and just as a moment of, like, hey, I'm doing this for myself, I've been like, yeah, look at yourself in the mirror. Yeah,
that makes 100% sense.
Yes.
I have no problem with anything she's doing in this scene.
My mother...
It's Elias.
My mother's never done a striptease. Mom, you've never done a striptease.
Yeah, it's Elias looking in like a little creep.
Yeah, he's just watching her.
Probably getting, she can't be my mom because I have a boner. That's probably how I imagine Elias is thinking.
These kids are probably 11.
You get boners. You get boners your whole life.
It's so weird to think about.
You do. Like, even babies get boners. They just don't notice them.
What?
Yeah. You don't notice that your dick gets hard. Apparently... As an owner of a penis, I've been told by doctors that literally you get hard your entire life. I have no memory of it till I was like 12. But you do get them.
These kids have Naomi Watts as a mother, so before 12 makes sense.
So they're there watching Naomi Watts do a striptease. He has a fucking boner going on. And that's why he's like, she's not my mom, because otherwise you're an incestuous creep, Elias.
Yeah, it's all Elias's fault.
Yes.
I mean, really it is.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can understand why you wouldn't want to think that was your mom if you were that aroused by her dance.
She fucked up by not telling the kids that she was going to be a mummy instead of a mommy. And that's pretty much it.
I'm going to be British this week.
I'm British this week. Look at my face. You can't because I'm a mummy.
Other thing. He hides under the sink. I have never in my life seen a sink you can hide under. That did not touch the floor.
I haven't either.
Ever.
In this apartment, you could probably hide under my sink, but it's filled with shit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. It's not like if it was like a...
And I wouldn't be able to look up.
If there was a fucking drawer or like doors, that's one thing. There are no doors. It's just a straight sink with enough area for a like 11, 12-year-old boy to hide under. Yeah, she would have
been able to see it like while she's walking into the bathroom.
Yeah.
That he was there. That was like, I wrote that down too, that it was a huge surprise for me. Because I was like, what the fuck? Is this actually their mother? Because like a mother would just notice that her child is under the sink. Yeah.
Honestly, most mothers, and even my mom, was as unmotherly and unmatronly as my mother is. Most mothers can even smell their fucking kids.
Yeah, totally.
They can tell which kid is in the room from our fucking scent.
My mom knows when I had a mimosa, like 24 hours prior. Yeah. She can smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll be like, you had champagne yesterday at brunch, didn't you? You said you weren't drinking, you had champagne yesterday at brunch. And I'll be like, fuck you! Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, they can smell everything.
And I still can completely recall what my dad smells like. It's one of those, it's just a part of, like, biology. Mm-hmm. We know what relatives smell like.
Yeah, we do.
So at this point, she leaves the bathroom and he found the picture of her in the garbage. The picture that he drew
of her and Lucas. Yes.
And she rips it up when she sees it on the floor.
Which is, like, fucked up, too. Like, the kid already found it. Maybe you put it on the fridge. Like, you have to deal with... At this point, you have to know that your kid's psychologically fucked up.
Yeah.
You have to play the game until you can get professional help. She shouldn't have ripped it up.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's my big problem, and it's good that you brought up that, what was it, a John Denver song?
Yes.
That was sung to you? So Lucas, at this point, starts saying the reason she doesn't sing the song is she doesn't know the words. If it was a song like the songs that your parents sung, that's a perfectly understandable thing.
Yeah.
There is no one on earth who does not... She
said she doesn't know the words to You
Are My Sunshine. No one on earth does not know the words
to You Are My Sunshine. She's lying about that then.
No, she doesn't even say it. Lucas is the one who implies she doesn't know the words.
Lucas is dead.
But it's such a common song. Yeah. Everyone on earth knows the words to You Are My Sunshine. If you were to, like I said, the John Denver song your parents sung, I don't know that.
Sunshine on my shoulders make me happy.
Yeah, I don't know that song.
Makes sense.
But that makes sense. If you met your mother and she didn't know the words to that, you would know she's an imposter.
Yeah, my father, I'd be like,
yeah, you know he's an imposter.
Yeah, totally.
But if it's You Are My Sunshine, that's like not knowing the words to Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Everyone fucking knows the words.
You know, for future filmmakers, if you want to use the song Happy Birthday in a movie, you have to pay a little old lady in the middle of Arkansas a shit ton of money to get the rights. Mm-hmm. She's a little old lady. And she might be dead now. This was a couple years ago. But just so you know, before you use Happy Birthday in a movie, you have to buy the rights for it.
So, Aqua Teen Hunger Force have an amazing episode all about that, where they have the birthday song Spirit Journey Formation Adventure.
That makes sense.
Which is sung by Rush on the episode.
Of course it is.
Because he's trying to corner the market on birthdays because the birthday song is copyrighted.
That's funny.
So, and it's the most, like, fucking unintuitive fucking song. It's like a fucking prog song. Deep inside the womb of time, the creature thus be formed. And it's like the most unintuitive thing where, like, everyone's like, no one's going to sing this at a party.
No one's going to do this, man.
Yeah. So at this point, they try calling their dad. Dad isn't answering. And she's upset Elias locked the door. It's a lot of the same type of the same movie. You know, a lot of the same scenes.
She wants to make them dinner. They're not hungry.
Yeah.
We're not hungry.
We're not hungry.
Yes. You'll have to come out eventually. They're locked in their room.
Yeah.
They won't come out. Call Dad, Lucas says. Yeah. They're watching a bunch of shit with You Are My Sunshine and trying to, like, just find their mom again. And they're sharing a bed as opposed to, and it's bunk beds in this one, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she breaks in. We don't know how. It's not through a key, but she breaks in.
You can break in a door. It's easy.
I can break into any door.
Exactly.
Yes.
Rummaging through shit. She demands to know where she gets the phone and she puts it in the garbage disposal, which that is unacceptable.
Yeah, no, that's just showing that you don't respect their father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, you know what? Like, even if it's fucking 2022.
But he should have told her. He should have told her that they had a phone.
Yeah.
You know, he should have communicated that, and they should have communicated to their mother that they had a phone ahead of time, just like she should have been like, I had full facial plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Ahead of time.
Still, it's 2022. You don't put someone's phone in the fucking, the garbage disposal. She
puts
not
it,
acceptable.
And I have a garbage disposal where I live right now, and I thought about it, and I was like, that sounds terrible, but also probably wouldn't work and would maybe start an electrical fire.
I think it would fuck your garbage disposal up.
Yeah, and I think it would start a fire.
Yeah.
Yes. So doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So,
Amazon.
So he says it's not fair, and she goes on about how none of this is fair, and she doesn't want to enjoy this. They push furniture in front of the door. They listen in the walkie-talkie while Mother masturbates.
Is that what she's doing?
It certainly sounds like she's masturbating.
That's Mom.
Yep. He sits awake with the BB gun by his side and listens to the walkie-talkie. He uses his toilet.
Also, like, as someone who has BB guns,
yeah,
you know, and I never had one as a kid. I didn't shoot a gun until I was well into an adult and only learned how to shoot for a role. That I'm not anti-gun, I'm not pro-gun, but I have BB guns, and I've never heard. They're all still in the box, by the way. But I've never heard of, like, a shotgun BB gun. That's a big BB gun.
That I've never heard of, yeah.
That's a big BB gun. Yeah, that's huge.
And so he sits awake with BB gun, and he uses his toilet, and he hears music coming from the bedroom. So he goes in her bathtub, and he sees her in her bathtub with the facial mask on, because Elias is a fucking perv.
Yes, Elias is a fucking perv. Also, on the flip side of that is a face mask I've never seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And trust me, as like, you know, my day job is as a model, and I know how that sounds, but like, it's true. So I've been through every face mask regimen on the planet. I've never seen something. It looked like she was literally placing a porcelain broken vase on her face. Exactly. It was so thick. It didn't make any sense. And even from people that I know who've had, like, a lot of plastic surgery on their face, that's not something that they do. Yeah. Yes.
So at this point, she, slaps him in the face. Honestly, you probably should if your kid is fucking sneaking in on you in the bath and trying to strip your fucking...
I never thought about Elias being a fucking perv. You're right.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think he was...
God, I want to rewatch the movie.
I think he was kind of turned on by his mom. You know, that's the thing, though, is that, like, when you're that age, you are discovering sexuality.
Yeah.
And, you know, I will be the first to say that, like, yeah, like, I remember, like, when my cousin would walk around in her panties, I wasn't turned on, but I would look.
Right.
Because it was like, you know, you're just getting to the age and you're noticing women.
Yeah.
I never looked at my mom, but with my cousin, yeah. You know.
I had a crush on a cousin.
But when you're walking in on your fucking mom in the goddamn bathtub, that's the level where you're a fucking perv.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Makes sense.
That's
I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's the age where they're like, no more baths with you, Elias, because you know, we don't want.
I'm locking the bathroom.
Yeah, your mom doesn't want you to have a fucking hard on while you're taking a shower with her.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You know. I actually know a friend who actually stopped taking baths with her son because of that. Because her son got hard while she was bathing him, and that's when she's like, she didn't say anything, but she said it to me. But she was like, yeah, I think it might be time to stop. Like taking a bath with him.
Jesus Christ. How old was the kid?
He was like 8. And that's when she's like, yeah, I probably should have.
I got my period at 9.
Yeah, she's like, maybe I should have stopped like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But like, he looked at me and his dick was hard. And like, I think maybe I should have stopped a little bit earlier.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
So here's where he locks himself in the room. And she's like, we do not lock doors in this house. And she pulls the fucking doorknob off.
Is that blood or is that paint?
That is blood.
Great.
Yeah. So she...
This is relevant, I promise.
Yes. And I've tried to be good to you. I've tried playing along. I've done everything you're supposed to do. And this is how you treat me. And he yells, you're not our mother. And that's when she slaps him. Take that back. We don't love you either. We hate you. I've coddled you too much. Things are going to change.
My mother says that I've coddled you too much.
Really?
She said I loved you guys too much. Yeah. Don't like that. But, you know, Dylan and I hit like 28, 29 by that point.
Yeah.
But.
Well, hey, if it makes anyone feel better, my mother once told me that our lives would both be a lot better if she had had an abortion.
That doesn't make any logical sense.
Well, I wouldn't be miserable because I wouldn't be born, and she wouldn't have had to deal with me. There you go.
Yes.
So she's giving him. Then here's where she says, "No more talking to your brother," and she gives him the cold shower, demanding he says, "You are my mother," until he eventually says it.
Again, watch Academy at Ivy Ridge, whatever the fuck it's called. This is so relevant.
Yeah.
I promise you.
So she eventually starts putting the lotion on her skin because her son got the hose. And
her son got the hose.
And here's where she starts pulling off a lot of skin, and like she's an alien. And
oh, I loved that scene. I love that scene because there's like, again, bringing up like modeling as a living. There have been times where, you know, that I know I'm flying out west tomorrow, and I know I'm going directly into a manicure pedicurist for my shoot, and there have been times where, like, they've cut a little too far on the cuticle. Yeah. And it's almost like you could pull it back. But I can't think of, other than my Achilles being severed, I can't imagine any greater pain than that. So, like, actually watching that again, I actually it got a visceral reaction out of me. Really? Yeah. Well, oh, no! Terrible.
I watched it, and I'm like, I guess this is a dream sequence.
Yes.
Because she pulls all of her fucking skin off, like she's an alien
when
or
it
something.
was just that one thing, it was believable. And that was great on the fucking director and writer's part. Yeah. And then they went too far, and she pulls all of her skin off, and she's this weird demon alien.
I think in the original, the part where she gets completely naked, goes into the forest, and her head starts spinning was supposed to also be a dream sequence. But they don't make it clear it's a dream sequence.
No, they don't. It didn't make any sense.
It just became a scene that you and I were like, why is this even in the movie?
Yeah.
But I think it was supposed to, watching this, I'm like, oh, I guess that was supposed to be a dream sequence in the original.
Yeah, totally.
So here's where they leave. They climb out the very convenient doggy door, even though they don't have a dog.
It is convenient.
And here's where I was like, boy, here's where I noticed the lack of dead cats or roaches in this film, and I'm not upset by that.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
I was watching, like, Mother Earth or, like, Nature, whatever, on Netflix today. I saw a little hyena cub get eaten by, like, the rival, like, whatever, and I still couldn't even handle that. Yeah. I couldn't even handle that. So, I was grateful for a film where there were no animals.
It's kind of crazy when you really think about the animal kingdom, and you think about how cruel it is. Like, that's one of the reasons why...
I'm supposed to accept it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the fact that, like, you know...
I do.
Like, if I were to meet, you know, as a male, if I were to, you know, hook up with someone who had a kid, at no point do I think to myself... before I hook up with her, I have to eat her child. Lions do that.
They do.
Yeah. And it's so weird to think in the humans that we're like, oh, well, now that's my kid.
Yeah, hyena queens, like our rival queens, I learned today, will go and attack the air so that they can take over the fucking tribe.
Yeah.
Broke my heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely broke my heart.
Nature is so incredibly cruel. It's one of the reasons why it's important to go and adopt, so that you can go and help.
Adopt. Also, none of my kids are here. Monkey Gertrude and Peanut are up with my mom, and I'm devastated.
But it's but I mean, the fact is that, we give them better lives than they would get.
All my kids are rescues.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what we do.
Every one of them, you gave a better life than they would have had they never met you.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
But so at this point,
your mom's
they
crying.
Leave. I'm sure my mother has never cried about anything.
I know. I knew you'd say that.
She's a cold, emotionless monster. Anyway.
Mom, I love you. Thank you for taking care of my kids.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lucas at this point, while they're leaving, is like, when we were in the womb, we were one person until we split in two because we were smart.
It was more like this because he talks like this too.
That way, we could never be alone again.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized ghosts have interesting ideas about biology.
So they do.
Elias, they hide out in an abandoned house.
This is what I missed.
Yeah.
Okay, so please explain this to me because I missed this. I missed this. How they got. I know that they were planning on leaving and escaping, but I must have dealt with a fur ball or shit on the floor or something where I missed how they got from point A to point B.
They just went out and found the closest house that was empty because they were knocking, trying to find help.
Oh, I saw that. Oh, nobody's home.
Yeah, and nobody's home, so they
went into that
when
house.
they noticed all the furniture was covered.
Then why did the cops show up?
Because that place still had an alarm, probably sent by the real estate agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that was my biggest question. I was like, Charles saw it.
Yeah, and at this point, because they have the nightmare that their mother, who's all weird and alien, comes to visit, but it's just a nightmare.
Yes. They did good ass effects.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, so here's where the two state troopers come by.
Sandy and Greg?
Yes.
Gary and Sandy.
Gary and Sandy.
What I love is that they were very evident and clear about giving them names.
Yes.
I really love that.
Yeah.
It made me really happy.
Yeah, and they end up taking them back home because they don't really believe anything. But Sandy does believe there's some abuse going on, perhaps.
Yes.
And Elias is upset that his mother fooled the cops. They think she's some kind of monster.
And Gary asked her for a fucking selfie.
Yeah.
Fucking Gary.
I know that actor from somewhere. I've seen him. I think.
I know. I've seen both of them somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
And Gary says, "Hey, children imagine things, and that'll pass." And the cops leave and say they'll all sleep safe and sound under the same roof. And Lucas is like, "No one's going to believe two little kids as long as she's around, and they need to find their mom."
Yeah, and she says to Elias, I'm not going anywhere. You're going to learn to love me someday.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. She cries, she drinks some wine, she does some shit. She's got the scars on her face. That's the thing, too, is that I can understand now. This is the first point which we didn't say. When the cops showed up, we see Naomi Watts without the face shit on.
Yeah.
It's the first time we see her without the face shit on.
Yeah.
And there are, once you have better lighting when we're in interiors on the film, you see that there's scars and stuff. Still looks like Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
She looks older because of the scarring.
And also the 20 years since we've last seen Naomi Watts, too, I'd say.
But, no, I'm talking about, the headshot and stuff.
Yeah.
It still looks like the same woman. So then you start, even more so questioning, a lot Elias's fucking, mental health.
Yeah.
And all that. Which they never do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she takes her sleeping pills and some wine, and she goes to bed, and she ends up waking up tied to the bed. And here's where in the original there was 20 minutes of torture that is not here.
It's not here. And I forgot about that. So she's tied up with duct tape. She wakes up, and Elias and Lucas are there. Is this some kind of game I'm not playing? Where's Mom, they ask. And I wrote just then, it's totally not believable with how little has happened. Looking back on the film, I don't know the psychosis of Elias and all that, but I guess between me as a filmmaker and seeing the original, I felt like there wasn't enough to warrant tying up your mom with duct tape.
I feel like if you and I had done a remake of this, it would have been in the middle. Where I think there would have been torture, but not 20 minutes of it.
There was none.
Yeah.
No, they did throw ice cold water on her.
Yeah, but I think there would have been some, but not to the level of the original film.
Not to the level. Like, we're to the level in the original film, it was just like, okay, enough.
Yeah, because here's the thing, is I have no problem with torture in films. I've had torture in my films. However, it's the type of thing where it has to be necessary to the plot.
I have to pee.
We're almost done.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
But like I said, like, it has to be necessary to the plot.
Yeah.
And then, if you're going to show it for a long time, there has to be a reason why you're showing it for a long time. Yeah. Not to spoil anything in Bishop's Cove, but like there's like, a minute in the entire film of torture.
Debatable.
No, me and Lake actually looked at the time.
Oh.
It's a minute and 16 seconds of it.
Oh.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's all it needed to be. We shot like fucking 20 minutes.
I'm thinking about, because yes, as a producer, I was there for all of it.
Yeah, because we shot 20 minutes of it, but there's only a minute. There's a minute and 15 seconds in the film, and that's the thing, is torture can completely be something you have in your film, but it needs to be something that is there for a reason, and if you're going to show it graphically, it needs to be a reason why it has to be shown graphically.
Yeah, totally.
Like next week's film will be a film that I think actually would be lesser without the torture in it.
Wow.
We'll get into that later. So, but yeah, eventually she starts to cry after she's saying our mom doesn't throw away drawings. And, here's where Elias is talking about how their eyes are different.
Yes, their eyes are different. And she's just like, what the fuck? It's about my eyes.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. So her eyes are blue. That's how they think that she's different. Where in her headshot, they're green.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, it's contacts. It's in my purse.
Yeah.
Like, my, obviously she's a famous actress or something. Mm-hmm. It's in my purse. That's the persona that I go under. She has green eyes. And Lucas deliberately lies going through the fucking bag saying that he couldn't find the contacts.
Yeah.
Like, proving that she was lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So at this point, he lets her go because everything is cramping.
Everything with her is cramping.
Yeah, everything is cramping. And she accuses, and Lucas now starts getting very accusatory of Elias.
Yeah, it's like it was like I feel like in the original it was, you could tell that Lucas was more of the maniacal child from earlier on.
Yeah.
Now it's just
But that's the thing, we don't know what Lucas was like early on. We just know that's Elias's psyche. For all we know, his version of Lucas could just be his dark side.
That's true. That's true. But it's like all of a sudden a switch is flipped. A switch is flipped.
Real life Lucas could have been a super loving kid. Could have been even more loving than Elias was.
Yeah. Well, I hope so.
Yeah. And Lucas at this point puts the sock in her mouth and tape on her mouth and says, together we're strong, but here's where the state troopers knock on the door.
Yes. And Elias opens the door. They haven't seen Lucas yet. Mm-hmm. Obviously.
Because they can't. Because he's dead.
Yes. And Gary's all about, like, they have a fucking call for some, like, tractor trailer being overturned. And she's adamant.
Sandy really wants to do a follow-up to make sure the kids are safe.
To make sure the kids are safe.
The kid is safe.
And she wants the mom to come there.
Yeah.
And the mom Naomi Watts is desperately trying to knock a lamp over. She realizes that she can knock a lamp over.
Yeah.
The cops are calling her phone. She can't answer it. And she succeeds as they're leaving in knocking over the lamp. And Sandy turns around the cop.
Yeah.
But as Gary honks the horn on the cop car, she leaves.
Yeah.
And I love that moment of acting from Naomi Watts, too. Where she realizes that they're driving away. I just think as an actor, she did... Naomi Watts did everyone did a great job.
Yes.
In this. They really did.
Yes. So at this point... while the cops are distracted, Elias goes to her purse and finds she does have the contacts.
So Lucas is lying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he calls his mother mommy, and hugs her. And she says she's sorry. He didn't want to do those things to you. It was Lucas the whole time. He lied.
And Lucas disappears from behind the door.
Yeah.
He just disappears.
Yeah, and she says, "I'm not mad," and he wants to talk to her about Lucas. So, she takes him to the barn to show him.
The up in the loft of the barn is what they found earlier is all the comic books with, it was not paint, it was blood, and with a bullet wound, like, or a bullet hole into the fucking wood, and it's because Elias picked up maybe the father's gun, not knowing it was loaded, and shot and killed his brother. I mean, most... that's kind of brutal. That's different.
I mean, but it's a very American problem, honestly, because it's
happens all the time.
There are so many children who die because one parent has a gun.
And that's what I was thinking about, is, like, this was, like, a message to American parents, but not enough people know about this movie.
Yeah. And so he can't handle it, and he ends up accidentally knocking her off the top.
I mean, he pushes her off the top.
And she has a lantern, which breaks, and the barn goes on fire.
Yes. Do you see now there's, like, a whole thing on the internet about people are trying to invest in straw houses?
Yeah. No, I did not.
It's a thing. People want straw houses.
Jesus Christ.
No, Jesus is not
Are they trying to go on fire?
Clearly.
I guess.
You think I'm trying to light people on fire? Forget
Jesus
about
Christ.
It. Yeah.
And so she dies, and...
the barn collapses.
Yep.
And Elias is there. What I like to... so he's greeted by his mom as she was, and with Lucas holding their, like, precious teddy bear that we only see for, like, a glimpse at the beginning. And he hugs his mom, and that's the end of the movie. And you wonder, like, is he dead too? Is he still in that barn? No, he's just
crazy. He's not in the barn. He's just a nut job.
Well, but then I want to know what happens next.
Well, then they'd have to do a sequel.
I hope they don't.
Yeah. Goodnight, my adopted parents who end up also died.
Goodnight, my insanity. Goodnight, my psyche. Goodnight, my childhood.
And
Goodnight, childhood.
And that is the 2022 remake of Goodnight, Mommy.
It is.
Yes. But yeah, like I said, I think that the nice thing about spoilers is it changed the entire perception of the film. Going into it knowing.
Yeah, it's like, imagine me watching the German version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I remember, if you listened to last week's episode, I talked about I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. Knowing the fucking twist, I barely paid attention to Lucas because I knew it wasn't real.
See, I paid more attention to Lucas watching it this time because I knew you were not going to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But then also the fact that, I don't know, you have to deal with the, like, I guess American psyche versus, like, other countries' psyches on how they deal with grief and what psychological shit goes on. So, but you could tell more the difference. The American version made more of a difference, even in their clothes. They made sure they were dressed differently.
Yeah.
They spoke differently. Their timbres were different. They had different personalities. And that was all helpful.
Yeah.
But once you know that Lucas is dead, it completely, not spoils, but changes everything.
Exactly.
There's no way, like, getting around. It's not like it takes you out of the movie.
Yeah.
But you're able to, like, analyze it, or autopsy.
Yeah, there you go.
It more.
So, yeah, that was Goodnight, Mommy. We want to thank you for listening to us.
We do.
Chelsea, where can people find you?
You can find me at chelsea.lesage on Instagram. And where can they find you?
At charles.d.lincoln on Instagram. You can also find, if you want to contribute to the cause of independent cinema, you can contribute to my Patreon at patreon.com/CharlesDLincoln, one word, and to contribute to Chelsea's.
Yes, you can do it at cameo.com/Chelsea.lesage, or just open the app and look me up.
And you can also find us together on CL Squared Productions on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find Cinematic Autopsy also on Facebook.
Exactly.
Very exciting stuff.
Yes. And so next week, we're in the last two films, well, technically our last 4 episodes of this theme.
Of October.
Yeah, exactly. So the next week is going to be one of my favorite films, but one of the worst remakes I've ever seen, so prepare yourself for that. But a film that if you know my shit, you know where this comes from, Martyrs.
No.
The very fucked up French movie.
Have we seen that?
You have not. You've told me many times you've never seen it.
Can't wait.
Yep. So we're going to see that, and then we will see literally what I would describe the remake as everything wrong with American horror in one movie. So...
Thank you for listening.
We want to thank you for listening and watching.
You always do that when you fucking like intro the next movie and you prep it with something bad because this is not the first time. You just are like, all right, guys, thank you so much, and I'm sitting here like, the fuck, not allowed to process. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye.